Agin Erev Shabbos, Agin Erev Yom Tish, Shavuos Habalinu L'Toiva. Let me show you the incredible Vort, an incredible story, an incredible song, and we'll see if we can tie them together. It could be they'll have no shaykhs, but they'll all be delicious in their own right. Here's the Vort. I heard from Rav David Kaplan. Famous kasha, we said Nasav in Ishma. We will do, and then we will listen, right? So we're all in. Rabbanu Shalom, whatever you got for us, we are your avodim. Intrinsically, we're going to do whatever you tell us to do. Okay, that's what it means to be an aved. And then Hashem takes the mountain and hangs it over us like a barrel and says, if you accept it, toiv. If you don't, shom teik v'raschem. Two questions. Number one, we already accepted it. Famous kasha. You don't need to threaten me anymore, right? I'm all in, Rabbanu Shalom. Game over. Second kasha. What do you mean, like a barrel? You hold a mountain over a person like a mountain. Like a barrel is not so threatening. You know, you could hold a barrel over me like a mountain. That'd be scary. It sounds like it's sort of minimizing the impact of the moment by saying it's like a barrel. And I just thought of a third kasha. Why does Hashem say, Shom take for aschem? There will be your burial. If he's threatening to bury us under this mountain, it should be Poi take for aschem. Right? Like here, what's the shom take for aschem? Here's the answer. It's beautiful. Based on the Gemara describes the mountain being put over us, and it says that it surrounded us on four sides like a protective shield, and the mountain was above. If the mountain is above threateningly, how is it protecting us on the sides? Elamai, it must be that Hashem carved out a chunk of the mountain in the middle, and we were inside this mountain. We're inside Har Sinai, right? And we're under there, and the Rebbeinu Shalom tells us, you accept the Torah, good things will happen. The Torah is delicious. The life of Torah is sweet, it's meaningful, it's pure, it's an absolute sheer delight. It's just elation. But if you don't accept the Torah, the Rebbeinu Shalom tells you, it's not that I'm going to bury you here. Out there, you will be buried. That will be the death of you. Being outside of this protective shield of the Torah, of Har Sinai, of the Rebbeinu Shalom, of the chuppah, of our relationship with Hashem. Hashem says, you betray me and you leave this relationship. There's nothing for you out there. The sweetest of the sweet is in here. It's a protective place. It's safe, and it's not just safe. It's exciting. Often we find safe places which draw all of the life out of us. But the Rebbeinu Shalom is telling us, no, it's not only safe. This is Toiv. Mutav. Right? If you accepted Mutav, great. It'll be incredible. But out there will be the death of you. And that's what the Rebbeinu Shalom was saying is that he held it over us like a barrel. Once heard a Vort like this, that he wasn't holding it over us like a threatening mountain. He was holding it over us like a barrel. When you look at a barrel, you never know what's inside. There could be a Nebuch, $4.50 carton bottle of wine in there, right? That, they just squeezed it. It could be grape juice for all you know. It could be beer. It could be a vintage wine from the Rashi French era, from the Renaissance. You have no idea what's in that barrel. That's what our Torah is. The Rebbeinu Shalom hangs it over us and says, you turn on that spout, and you can get whatever you want from it. The Torah relates to everybody the way their chelik in Torah. The Chazal tells us there were 600,000 different Sefer Torah given out. Everyone gets their own unique Torah. Whatever is supposed to be for you is in that barrel. That's what Har Sinai is. It's shrouded in mystery because underneath it's like a magic trick. You pull it out and whatever you wish for is under there. Whatever is supposed to be for you, your Torah, is in that barrel. Wow. Kula lechem, kula lechem. Here's a Moedik Amaisa. Just Rabbi Yoel Gold says it over. He promulgates, he gives that, he elaborates and makes these stories very exciting. There's a Maisa, what was it? There's this kid, totally irreligious, yeah? And he had no interest in Judaism, but he was offered a subsidized trip to Israel. Free trip, vacation, gap year, whatever you want to call it. He says, I'm in. Him and a couple of friends hop on a plane, and they go to Eretz Israel. They land over here, and it's Thursday night, Friday night. It's Shabbos. It's in Eretz Yisrael, a couple decades ago, everything shuts down. There's nothing to do at all. This is before cell phones, so they couldn't just vegetate their brains for the time. And they wake up Shabbos morning, and there's nothing to do. There's nothing. The place is dead. So they said, let's go shul hopping. Shul, what am I going to shul? It's not Rosh Hashanah, it's Yom Kippur. Who's going to shul today? So they said, look, trust me, this is Yerushalayim. There'll be shuls open. So him and a couple of buddies, they went around. And they went from shul to shul to shul to shul. And none of them really pulled them inside. But then they came to this big, magnificent white brick building, and Yerushalayim brick, and they hear these beautiful songs coming out of it. It was like Hasidus. So they went inside. They didn't want to go in because they would feel really out of place. They didn't quite have the Hasidish look to them yet. So they went upstairs. They went to Rezvos Nashim. There's no one there, Baruch Hashem. And they lean over and they peek down to see what was happening. It happens to be at that moment they were up to Kriyas HaTorah. And this bacher, he looks out and he sees a bunch of old men, big white beards, leaning over an ancient Torah scroll, a Sefer Torah, and they're reading from it. And something hit him. He said, if I were to walk into a shul 1,000 years ago, at this time of day, I would see the exact same thing. Old people in the same talisim, reading from the exact same Torah in the same order, the same week, the same tune. That's insane. That's what keeps Jews together. That's why the Jews still exist. The Torah is it's our glue. It's the screws that keep that keeps the table from wobbling. That's it. That was the turning point in his life, and from then on he became religious. And today he sits and learns in Heilige Balabas, Moed Gamayasu. His mother, turns out, Holocaust survivor, came to America, and the Kalav Rebbe came collecting in America. The Kalav Rebbe, the Heilige Kalav Rebbe, was a survivor, not just a survivor, he was a fiery survivor. He helped victims become survivors. And he, just like with a passion, and the Kalav got the brunt of the Holocaust. He was a victim of Mengel. And he was going around rebuilding. And he was collecting to buy a Sefer Torah. And he sat down with this Yid's mother, as it turns out, years ago. And she said, how much would it cost for a Sefer Torah? He told her the cost now is $3,500. Halavai, we could still buy a Sefer Torah for $3,500. And she says, I just had a baby boy. And unfortunately, he has this debilitating blood disease. Do me a favor. Go to shul, make a mishaberach l'chaylim for my son. I'm more than happy to sponsor a Sefer Torah. And he says, of course. And she writes out a check, $3,500, buys the Sefer Torah. And that boy grows up, goes on a subsidized trip to Israel, walks into Kalev, looks down at a Sefer Torah that his mother donated 15, 20 years ago. B'schus his refuah shalema. And not only did this Sefer Torah save him physically, that Sefer Torah saved him spiritually. We have to connect to the Torah. We have to respect the Torah. We have to know that everything we need is in the Torah, and that everything in the Torah is toiv, and everything out there shom tehek for aschem. May we be zoiche to have a lichtige Kabbalah sa Torah v'hayir in b'sar secha, and be'ezer Hashem. Quick Vort. The 50th day of Shavuos was not Kabbalah sa Torah. It was the 51st day. The Maharsha writes in Avodah Zarah that we celebrate the 50th day of Shavuos because we're celebrating that we were prepared to accept the Torah. How could I not say this word? Oh my goodness. Shavuos is a celebration of the preparation for Torah, that we came to a place in our life, in our spiritual elevation, that we are able to be recipients of the Torah. That's something to celebrate. May we be zeicha to reach that madrega, the madrega of Shishim Agbala, the madrega of being able to stand the Eichon Shem Yisrael and I get a heart. Aren't you with a ball in the title, Bezer Hashem? Koy Aseh Hashem li, v'choy Yosef, ki l'amaves yafrid beini uveinei. Koy Aseh Hashem li, v'choy Yosef, ki l'amaves yafrid beini uveinei. Ki asher telchi elech Vasher Talini Alin Ameich 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 Elokai Elokai Ameich 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 Elokai Elokai Vasher Telchi Elech Vasher Talini Alin Ameich 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 Elokai Elokai Ameich 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 Elokai Elokai. I get Shavuos, I get Yom Tiv.